season would be and always will be about. So Christina, really, you like embodied our message. Thank you so much. So our third and final artist tonight, I'm so excited to introduce her. Brianna Miller is a Black female youth poet. She is an Austin native. She began writing at the age of 11 and performing at the age of 12. She has been a part of the youth slam scene for about 6 years and is now working on transitioning into being a teaching artist to help bring about the next generation of youth poets. Oh wait, there's more. Writing was the driving force of her self-discovery as a Black queer woman, but poetry has been her main tool for seeking and providing inspiration for those whose voices are not heard. She is a psychology major at Texas State University with hopes of becoming a licensed psychologist and plans to use creative writing as a means to treat clients who suffer from traumas and other disabilities. That's really awesome, sorry. Storytelling is one of the few things that Brianna claims to be a specialist in. She lives by the words of one of her favorite poets, Maya Angelou. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Her favorite flavor of ice cream is coffee.
So hi, I'm Brianna, as you've heard in my bio. First of all, happy Valentine's Day. Speak is something that is very close to my heart. I started when it was They Speak back in 2013, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was writing poetry. It was very much like, your love set me free like a dove, and these rhyming. I thought I was going to be the next Shakespeare. But yeah, and so my writing was very superficial in the beginning because I was afraid to face my truth. And then I went to a They Speak workshop, and I met the amazing Ebony Stewart. And she said to me, "Why are you hiding from the truth?" And it didn't hit me before. I was like, "Oh, I'm not hiding from anything. What are you talking about? Like, I like love poems." And then I got home and I wrote my first real truthful poem. And ever since then, my life has changed. I have been able to address my own mental illnesses, with struggles with depression and anxiety through my writing, and use it in order to fuel my passion to go into psychology and to use the poetry that I've been blessed with and this talent that I've been given to help other people, in the future when I get my psychology degree. But now, as well as being a teaching artist, because the next generation of youth is coming up. Like she said, the youth today are amazing. They might be eating Tide Pods, but listen, they know they're So, that being said, I'm gonna jump right into it. So, in honor of Valentine's Day, this first poem is called Love. Concept. I fall in love with people I know can never love me back. When I was 13, I fell in love for the first time. He was all 6 feet 2 inches, blonde hair, blue-eyed perfection. My stomach became a helium-filled disco ball because of him, all big, colorful, and light. He made living life feel like a vacation when he was around. I fell for him for 2 years, each encounter convincing myself that destiny was more than a pretty name, that love was meant for me to find too. I thought I saw it hiding there in the oceans of his irises, wrote a poem to try and coax out his hidden affections, buried my soul on 3 pages, and gave it to him under the guise of just another love poem. He laughed, said whoever this was about was a lucky guy, and I felt the words rushing off my lips before I even knew what I was doing. "It's you," I said. He didn't talk to me for 3 years after that. Halfway through the 4th, he told me he was just trying to be nice, trying to be a role model. I was simply a student, he a grown man not in love with me. My 15th year on this earth, I met my twin, one only a week apart, my equal in every way except gender. He and I, both inexperienced and infantile in the meaning of love, but found PhD pathways in each other's eyes. Our romance consisted of everything immortal and hot. We belonged to the same storyline for 4 months. I attempted to write his heart into my possessions. I assumed he was mortified by my metaphors, intimidated by my Iliad heart. Why else would he sleep with my best friend? He only wanted one thing, and it was not me. At 16, I met a man from a faraway planet. Similar to my own, his halo disguised as curls seemed to absorb all light, took my love right along with it. Our conversations ran deeper than the abyss that was our age gap. I desperately tried to build a bridge, show him how mature I was, introduced him to my past poetry, told him I could grow for him, that I would give up all this girlhood, take on the responsibility of being his woman. He said no in the form of leaving. I was 17 when I became Shakespeare. Figured if I had a Romeo out there, he must have killed himself for the wrong girl, so I decided to find my own Juliet. Came across Verona's crown jewel, wrote me and her into a happily ever after, a queen and a commoner. There's no better love story than that. Trust me, I know. I've bought and watched and rewatched the movie of us for a year now. It always ends with her saying no. Maybe that's why I never told her. Why I let my abandonment issues superglue my mouth shut when I'm around her. Oh, how I wish to speak her name to the heavens with the promise of loving her intensely. She still says no in my prayers. At 18, I had begun to see the correlation between my misguided musings of madness, that this love unrequited has roots deeper than this hopeless heart can comprehend. Has social media photoshopped itself to something forbidden, something everyone wants? So why is it wrong when I want a happy ending? All right, and the next poem is a piece for Black History Month. It is called Bittersweet. To the man who called my post about the unfair treatment of Black women bitter. 1. I'm not bitter. I'm salty from the Middle Passage waters that still fall from my eyes because a Black woman had a piece of herself stolen today, and she will be told to suffocate her grief so the thief can breathe easier. 2. What you call bitter comes from not belonging to myself, not knowing where I come from. Columbus' clone sought to kill me, to colonize my culture. Everyone wants my features on a body that is not mine, and the world seems to be okay. 3. I'm not bitter. I'm furious that my sisters are told they are too aggressive and have anger issues because of their skin color, because that speaks louder than their words ever will, because that same mentality will justify the silence of their disappearances and their deaths. I'm not bitter. I'm pissed that in 2017, Black death is still justified. I'm afraid that in 2017, my death could be justified by your ignorance. 4. The thing about being bitter is, don't nobody always want to be sweet. Sugar don't have nutrients, it rots bones till they're brittle enough to break. Sweet things be too good to be Black and woman, make you forget about all the burned edges left untouched, and I can't afford that luxury. 5. A Black girl's sweet develops too fast anyway. It's taken for weakness, for availability, for consent. I am not anyone's dessert. I am not something extra only ordered to fulfill a craving. I'm not here to be your after-dinner desire. 6. My bitter be coffee, Black, no sugar, cream, or fancy flavors needed. Functional, not there for your entertainment. No Starbucks K-cup, pretty presentations needed. My bitter be truth, practical, the difference between design and decoration. 7. How easy it must be for you to be bittersweet. To be able to question my frustration because you live in a society that doesn't want your life at the expense of your body. You privileged preteen. For me to make myself pleasant, I must make myself pliable. Must bend to the validation of those who seek to keep my oppression sugar-coated. Must smile for those who wish to gum paste my mouth shut. If I refuse, I'm told I need to know my taste. To fall in line like the rest of the sweet treats. Then I come a dime a dozen. They say, ain't nothing spectacular about you, girl. You easily replace, so why not give my distastefulness a purpose? 8. What you blindly label as bitter behavior is the manifest destiny of my anger. That same society that gives you permission to devalue my opinion makes me angry to be Black, angry that I am angry. 9, I'm angry that this will be labeled as a Black poem before anything else. That this poem will label me an angry Black woman before anything else, that Black women are disregarded so much that our anger is seen as unnatural, something that needs to be quieted. 10, I'm afraid that this poem might be the last sound I'm able to make before I'm quiet. I'm afraid that my fear will be seen as unnatural, that I will not be allowed to be anything but angry, or bitter, or Black, or silent, or forgotten, or dead. my final piece, it's similar to what Christina said. It's about a journey. And so one of the things that I have been able to address in my journey as a poet and just as just a writer in general, being able to express myself, is to confront the trauma that I experienced as a child and how it affected my life growing up. So this is called Trainwreck. In my neighborhood, boys will have reinvented themselves at least 5 times before the age of 18. So when I met a boy who called himself Train, I was not surprised. He claimed he earned his name because he always was going somewhere. He also mentioned something about always moving cargo, but I don't really know what that means. I know it ain't good though. In my neighborhood, nothing is ever good for too long, including Train. He hears everything, but never learns how to listen. Definitely don't know how to act. You see, Train has a habit of looking for his manhood in all the wrong bedrooms. So I made it a point to keep him away from mine. Only saw him when we would play ball. Never thought him bold enough to search for himself there too. During the game, his body kept finding itself too acquainted with my own. I brushed it off at first, blamed it on the game and not the player. But after the game, when the player labels had long been forgotten, I found Train standing too close behind me in a too empty hallway. And when his hands wrapped around my wrist, I felt the bite of handcuffs. So the way his eyes looked at me like he was searching for what made me so soft, like he wanted it for himself. I saw a hunter, but my body become prey. Swore I heard a trap close, heard the door locking again. But my freedom lose itself in a dark room, and I was so afraid to be put there again, I panicked. Took a closed-eyed swing, didn't even know what was happening until I felt the bones break. The crack mixed with this ungodly wailing sounded sickly sweet, like vindication, like survival. I didn't mean to make a fault line out of his face. Didn't mean to break his jaw. Didn't mean for my fist to connect with anything higher than his chest, and even then, I didn't mean to cause injury. Just wanted to bruise his ego a bit. The real story about how Train earned his name is when he rode a train for the first time, he cried. Well, more like screamed, like something unholy was ripping itself out of his body. Sometimes I wonder if it was anything like what I did. Wonder if I ripped something from his body that day. I offered him an ice pack. He called me crazy, said I would get what was coming to me. But I wasn't afraid, because you know what they say about hurt people. We learn from our mistakes. So just once again reiterate what everybody has said tonight. Speak Peace is an amazing organization. And although it's my last year here, it is something that I want to see live beyond me. I want to see it help other kids. There are so many kids growing up in like AISD and just in Central Texas alone that are told that their creativeness is not going to get them anywhere in life, that it won't make money, and that there's no room for it in the practical world. And I think that that is such a lot, because you have to write everything in college. And I think that creative writing and just creative thinking in general is something that will get you further in life than any numbers and science can get you. Don't get me wrong, I love math and science, but I think that creativity is often overlooked and that the arts are often under-recognized for what the great things that they give students. And so if they're not going to give it to them in schools, I would love to give it to them, for free. Access on the weekends and whenever I can. And so please, 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 if you can, donate your time, donate your money, donate your resources. Speakpeace at gmail.com.
Speakpeace@gmail.com on Facebook. You can like us on Instagram. We pop it.
Please do. We are really here to help serve the community. We only want to just get bigger and help our students. So thank you so much for letting us present tonight, letting us speak. We're a great audience. Thank you.
And also at speakpeace.org. You can find their crowdfunding campaign, other ways to help. Yeah, that was amazing. I am completely blown away by all 3 of you. And if you want to keep supporting that clearly transformative organization, speakpeace.org.
My heart is pounding out of my chest for the past 40 minutes. So I am so grateful. I'm so satisfied. I don't know. I'm going to start crying, so I'm going to stop talking. So you can keep, I'm crying. Oh my God. This is just exactly what Oh no, I'm crying in front of people. This is just what we always hoped that these are the voices, artists that we really, this is what ice cream is for. For these stories. I'm really grateful, and I'm really embarrassed that I'm crying, but I love you all so much for being here tonight. Please donate whatever you can to this organization.
I just wanted to say, I made a boo-boo. I forgot our flyers and our cards and our t-shirts in the car, which is parked by Spider House, that's a strike. But if you're interested in any of that information, we're gonna leave some here, and you can come back by and pick them up. And if you're interested in getting a t-shirt, which I should have to show you because they're pretty tight, all proceeds go to support the youth going to Houston this year for VNV. And we'll make sure you get that, so you can go on our site for look for it. I have some at my car if you want some. But yeah.
Thank you for buying. But sincerely,
we also wanted to shout out again to Malvern Books. We can't do it without the space, so please support the space. They let us come here every month. They buy us ice cream to give out for free. It's amazing. So we do this every fourth Friday. Open mic first, then 3 featured women writers. So please come see us the fourth Friday of March. And we're gonna bust out some more ice cream now. So come talk to us and eat our ice cream.
Let's do it. Thank you guys.